Hi, I'm Nikki, and welcome to Nikki's Noggin, where we discuss everything brain injury and recovery related. I am a brain tumor and hemorrhagic stroke survivor. During my recovery, I've been lucky to meet so many amazing people who have unbelievable stories of heartbreaking trauma, but followed by resilience and determination that is unbelievably inspiring. I've always wanted to share these stories because they are unbelievably powerful, but I've just never known where to begin. But the universe just kept telling me in different ways that it's just something that I should really try until I was listening to an audiobook by Mel Robbins called Let Them, which, if you've ever heard it or read it, um, you know how powerful it really is. And I felt like Mel Robbins was screaming at me through the audiobook to tell me to just stop making excuses and to just give it a try. Honestly, I'm not sure what I'm doing or how to do this, but I'm going to try my best. Please go easy on me. I am a definite novice interviewer, but it can only improve from here. So just keep in mind that both the interviewer and the interviewee had brain tumors. So I'm pretty sure that you have to be nice to us. A few days ago, I was lucky enough to sit down with my friend Ella so that we could discuss her journey through discovering she had a brain tumor, the treatment that came after, and the recovery that came after that. Thank you for listening. Before your diagnosis, what symptoms were you experiencing?
In retrospect, I think that I had symptoms for quite a long time, which I attributed to other things. I felt like, I'd say nauseous more than most people, or I threw up more than most people. I was very bad at sports, kind of awkward. And then when it shit hit the fan, and my tumor became too big and it was blocking my cerebral spinal fluid drain, that's when I experienced symptoms on crack.
Okay.
So
everything was amplified a bit?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Probably for a good 4 or 5 months, I was throwing up a lot, 15, 20 times a day. I was feeling nauseous. I had these headaches. They got more and more frequent, and then so it was kind of like a stabbing pain for like a good 15 seconds, and then it would stop.
Interesting. So you weren't having headaches that were like all day, or?
Well, they became more and more frequent, but really like forgetting things. My working memory was just shot. But I was still working up until the end.
Did you ever suspect that something was seriously wrong with you, or what did you think was going on?
I was diagnosing myself with all kinds of things. I did suspect a brain tumor.
So you did think that it was a brain tumor?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't 100% sure, but mainly because when I looked up the symptoms, it was if you have a brain tumor here, these are your symptoms. If you have a brain tumor here, these are your symptoms. And they had them for like every part of the brain, and I experienced like all of them. So I was like, oh, maybe it's not a brain tumor.
Yeah. It's funny because a lot of people will say, like, when they have a lot of headaches, they'll say to themselves, like, oh no, I have a brain tumor. So you actually thought that you might have one. I did not think that, which is strange. Looking back now, I'm like, why wouldn't I have? It makes perfect sense, but.
I worked with this kid, and I was helping him, and I had to just stop, and I got it, like I had a headache, and he said, oh, what's wrong? And I said, oh, sorry, I just had a headache. And he's like, I don't mean to alarm you, but you might be growing a brain tumor.
Oh no, even the kid clocked it. Oh man. Once you started suspecting something, what was your first step? Did you go to your family doctor, or?
I did, and I told him about the headaches, and he said, are you drinking enough water? And I said, no, because I really wasn't. He said, okay, well, you know what, drink enough water and count, and if the headache still continued to call me in like a week. Then he actually called me 2 days later and he said, "So have you been drinking more water?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, have the headache stopped?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, you know what? We're gonna book you an MRI." He thought that in Alberta that I would just like get an MRI, but it was actually a CT scan.
Okay.
So he was mistaken. So
After you got this scan done, how long until you heard back from the doctor or a specialist?
it was about half an hour.
Wow, that's a scary thing.
Yeah. So I had to go get blood work done, and then I went and got my CT scan, and I had to fast. So my sister took me. We went for lunch, and then I had just ordered my food, and then I got a phone call from my family doctor saying, "Hi, is this a good time?" And he said, "Okay." He gave me the name of my brain surgeon, told me to go to the U of A hospital, that I had a brain tumor, and he asked me if I'd eaten. I had said no, and he said, "Don't, because you might need emergency surgery like today." I canceled the order. We went to the U of A hospital. I went to the Emerge. They just brought me in right away.
When you got told that you had a brain tumor, how did you react? Like, how did you feel?
I kind of knew, but it was still kind of shocking to hear. Yeah.
What was the process like leading up to your surgery? Like, did you have time to process it? You said you were in the hospital right away, right?
Yeah, they put me in the hospital right away. I had 3 days in the hospital before they were able to do the surgery. Mainly, they wanted to do it before, but there were no beds in the neuro ICU.
Oh, okay.
So I had to wait. They put me on an IV, basically. I don't know, they gave me some good drugs.
Nice.
And then it was COVID too, so, which was annoying because then I was only allowed like so many people.
Yeah. When was this?
This was 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who did you have come visit you while you were waiting?
Actually, my parents were on vacation. So when they first found out, I had to call them, and they flew back.
Oh wow, where were they?
They were in BC.
Okay.
They were there for their, like, it was a celebration retirement vacation.
Okay.
So I kind of ruined that.
Aww.
So it was actually two of my sisters to begin with, and then later my parents. So, but I was in the hospital. I was kind of happy and sad at the same time.
Yeah.
I just really wanted the headaches to stop.
Oh, I bet.
At this point, it was like coming every 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh wow.
And so it was like really affecting my life.
Yeah.
Then when they had me on the IV, the headaches just stopped.
Oh, the pain relief.
So I was so happy, and I had clean clothes and clean sheets, and at the hospital, which I didn't have at home. And my food was made, so I was like, I felt like, and then I'd get these heated blankets, which I was
you're
like,
being pampered.
well, yeah. And my sister even came and she brought me a non-alcoholic strawberry daiquiri.
Oh, nice.
I was just sitting in the hospital with my heated blanket, and I was like, oh, this is so great.
You were really making it a vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Were you awake for the surgery, or did they put you
no.
under?
Part of me wishes I was awake.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's like one of my biggest fears. I couldn't even imagine.
But no, I was asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you want to be awake?
Just to kind of see what was going on.
Oh,
I don't
terrifying.
know.
You want to watch yourself have brain surgery?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay. I would watch a video maybe later, but I wouldn't want to watch it like while it's happening.
But it was an 8-hour surgery, so
Wow.
a part of me is like, oh, good thing I did.
Yeah, you needed a nap.
Yeah.
And what hospital did you have your surgery in?
At the University of Alberta.
Okay, and
Yeah.
what was your experience there?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The staff was good,
Oh,
the
yeah.
doctors?
Yeah, everybody was fantastic, yeah.
And what's the first thing you remember after you woke up?
They woke me up. They told me that I was finished my surgery. They
Okay.
asked me where I was. I said the U of A hospital. I thanked them. I asked them if I was shorter now.
Why would you be shorter?
Well, because they took out 2 of my vertebrae. They did put it back, so I was concerned that I would have to, that I would be shorter. So.
And were you?
I wasn't. I actually grew an inch.
Oh, crazy!
Yeah. And then they wheeled me out, and I thanked the nurses who were wheeling me out, and I went on about how grateful I am for universal health care.
I'm so glad I don't have a bill at the end of this.
Yeah, because it would have been expensive.
Yeah, that's crazy. Whereabouts was your brain tumor?
So it was on my cerebellum
Okay.
and my brainstem, and then the first 2 vertebrae of my spine.
Wow, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Do you know how big it was, roughly?
Yeah, it was like a little. They did give me the full dimensions. I don't exactly remember them, but it was. I remember thinking, oh, that's like a little bit bigger than an egg.
Wow.
So yeah.
When you found out that you had to go to another country, and maybe let us know which country that was, how did you feel about that?
Well, I had to go down to Florida for proton radiation. We have photon radiation here, basically because it was cancerous. So they thought it was. Originally, they had thought it wasn't. Then the pathology report came back and said that it was, which was a big surprise to them. Oh, actually, when they got the pathology report back, it was at the Mayo Clinic that they do that. They had called them back and asked them to double check. The Mayo Clinic said they had already double checked because they didn't believe it themselves. So they just said time was not on our side, and so we had to go down to Florida.
So I'm guessing then they weren't able to get all the tumor out when they did the surgery.
No, I think they said that they got about 96% of it.
Okay.
So, and then he said when he wanted to go back for the 4%, my brain told them no. So I don't really know what that means, but.
So he was playing around in there, and
yeah.
Your brain said, How was your experience in Florida? Did you enjoy your trip? How long were you there?
I was there for 2 months. I actually had a nice time.
Who'd you go with?
I went with my parents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what was the actual radiation treatment like? Was it painful? How long did you have to go for, and how many times?
So I think I had to go 32 times, and it was 5 times a week. It wasn't painful, it wasn't long, but I had to get this cast made that fits especially for my head, and then they would bolt me down with the cast, and so I think the radiation part was only maybe 5-6 minutes.
Okay.
But it took about 20 minutes for them to get my head exactly in place.
Oh, okay, set it all up and
Yeah.
get you ready for the procedure.
And no, it didn't hurt.
And how did you feel afterwards? Did it make you feel sick at all, or did you have any side effects from the treatment?
As the treatment went on, I felt more and more tired. I had less energy. Surgery was July 8th, and then I was in Florida by August 31st.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so there wasn't long in between.
Yeah.
So they wanted to get it going as soon as possible. Was it optional for you to do it, or how did that work?
They told me that if I did no radiation, there was 100% chance that it would grow back.
Oh, okay.
If I did radiation in Edmonton, it was about a 70% chance.
Oh, okay.
And if I did radiation in Florida, it was about a 35% chance.
Oh, okay.
So, and that was with that was the stats with the benign tumors, and because mine was malignant, they said add a few.
Oh, okay.
They didn't really know.
So that type of tumor is normally a benign.
Yes.
tumor.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Having your treatment in a different country, did it open your eyes or make you feel maybe differently about the Canadian healthcare system?
Yes and no. Because they had a treatment there that wasn't in Canada, which I'm grateful for. at the same time, it made me very grateful for the Canadian system. I was told that, because it was a private system, that I would be basically treated like royalty. They would roll out the red carpet. I found that I was treated about the same.
Okay.
Like, I'd say the only difference, like, really, that between the Canadian and American system, like, from my experience, besides the treatment actually being available in the States, was that they did offer coffee and tea
Okay.
in the waiting room. The government did pay for my treatment, like the Canadian government. So, I think I don't remember it was going to be like 200,000 or something. So for the cost of that, like, I can buy my own coffee, like, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Canadian government paid for your treatment. Did they pay for anything else, or what was covered by you?
They paid for my flight there and back.
Okay.
And the treatment. And
okay, but no hotel.
No.
And what about your parents' flight? Do you have to?
No, they had to pay for that. Yeah.
Okay, so it was just you.
Yeah.
When you finished treatment, did you feel like people expected you to just be better all of a sudden?
So after my surgery, no. After radiation, yes.
Yeah.
After surgery, everybody was very accommodating.
Yeah.
Yeah. After radiation, I think people kind of expected me to be back to normal. So
yeah, you should just bounce back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that I think is really difficult for people who have a brain injury, is people do think of like recovery as like a short thing, like a 3-month to 6-month kind of thing, but it's not like that when it comes to brain injury. It's literally forever.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
After a brain injury, it's very common for people to struggle with different deficits. Did you find that you had any deficits after your brain surgery?
Yes. But I kind of had those deficits before, because most people's brain injury is either like something sudden, like an aneurysm or a stroke or a car accident. Whereas if you have a tumor, there was a before. So even after my radiation, I was up at Glenrose for a year as an outpatient, and I was doing all kinds of classes and rehab, and I was in a lot of classes with people with strokes and car accidents.
Yeah.
And so they kept saying, from the day of your injury, and since your injury, and I was like, I don't really know when that was. Basically, I think I had it all through my teens and 20s, and so I was 32 when it got taken out.
Do you ever feel like the world expects you to be grateful because you were able to survive something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how does that make you feel?
Like, I am grateful that I survived. Like, don't get me wrong. At the same time, like, I feel the people who should really feel grateful are the people who never had anything like this.
Exactly. Yeah. So when people are like, "You're so lucky.
Yeah.
You're so lucky to be alive," like, yeah, I am, but like, I'm not necessarily lucky to have gone through what you went through, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
After your surgery, did you find that you were telling people, like when you go out into the community to do something, do you tell people that you have any sort of communication issues or anything like that, or do you try not to?
I do if it's needed.
Okay, so you will if you feel like you have to.
Yeah.
But you'll avoid it if you can?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Before your tumor and you found out about its existence, what were you doing for work?
So I was a library technician, and then I made a career change to an educational assistant.
Oh, okay, that's got to be tough on you when you're having health issues.
Yes.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. And now that you're recovering, what are your plans when it comes to that?
So I don't think I'm going to go back to work, and that was a tough pill for me to swallow.
Yeah, you have a hard time with that.
I do, yeah. Especially because my parents are subsidizing me right now. So I feel guilty about that. So kind of back to when you asked me, like, when people say, "Oh, you seem fine," how do I feel about that? Like, that's kind of the, I'm like, oh yay, I feel fine, like I look fine. Then I'm like, oh, maybe maybe I'm wrong for not going back to work. Like, there's a lot that
Yeah.
there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about, right? But I can speak for myself, and you can tell me if you agree that when you have a brain injury and you're healing from something like that, you may have one day where you're doing really well and you can function and go to work and do all that stuff, but the next day you might not be able to.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really hard to be able to work a regular 9-to-5 job after a brain injury, because you just don't know from one week to the next if you're going to be able to function and do it, right?
Oh.
That, and then there's always those people that are like judging you and thinking that you're fine and you should be able to do it, but they have no idea because they're not in your body. They don't experience your feelings and your fatigue or your pain. That, and then there's always those people that are like judging you and thinking that you're fine and you should be able to do it, but they have no idea because they're not in your body. They don't experience your feelings and your fatigue or your pain. Do you find that people treat you any differently now that you're not in the hospital anymore and you don't have any sort of visible injury or anything like that? Do you find that people treat you differently?
Actually, I think that people treat me better
Okay.
now, in a way, because I had a brain tumor for so long. I struggled a lot with life, and anytime I complained about it, people would tell me to get over it, and that life is hard for everybody, that everybody felt that way, and I was like, okay, and it really made you feel like a total failure at life. Like, you're like, God, why is this hard for me? Like, everyone else seems to be able to do this.
So it's kind of nice to have something to be able to blame that on.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about how you have what they call an invisible injury now, or an invisible illness.
Yes.
How do you feel that affects your life when you don't have something that's like very, very, very obvious that you have something going on?
Yeah, it's definitely harder, because people do forget, and people expect the same. Like, sometimes people do expect the same, from you.
Because you look fine.
Because I look fine.
Yeah. What is something that you'd want people to know about life after a brain injury or brain tumor?
It goes on. It's not. Life doesn't stop. It's just a new way of life. It's not. It's different.
Yeah.
It's okay to be sad about it. It's not easy, and it is a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
At the same time, you can't dwell on it too much.
What's something that you gained from this experience?
I think I live life a little bit more fully now. I also have made friends through my my rehab classes. We call ourselves the Brainy Bunch.
Yeah.
Because we all had brain injuries. So I am super grateful for them. I do feel like I do live a little bit more fully. Like, I realize life is short. So we did put some things into perspective for me. And I got some great, hopefully lifelong friends. So.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You mentioned a little bit about our Brainy Bunch friends.
Yes.
We've talked as a group in the past about whether if we could go back and change what happened to us. And you said some of us had a stroke or a brain tumor or a car accident or whatever. We asked if you could go back and change it, would you? A lot of us said yes. What did you say?
I was the only one.
Or not. Sorry, a lot of us said we wouldn't change it.
Yeah,
And
I was
you
the
said
only
yes.
one that said yes.
Okay.
I I love the Brady Bunch. Wouldn't trade you guys for the world, but you guys are like the silver lining to me.
Yeah.
And I think because like, well, besides you, like everyone else had like it was a car accident or I think they were both car accidents.
Yeah, both the ladies were, and then
yeah. So it was very like for them it was sudden, like their life changed
overnight.
Yeah, and so for me it was so long that I remember thinking that I had a hunchback because I had this big bump on the back of my neck since I was like at least 16. And then as soon as I got my surgery, that went away, and they said it was most likely brain fluid.
Wow.
That was like bunched up.
There.
Yeah. So they said that by the time that you have that, like you had it probably for a while, and I was 16, and so life was not easy for me.
I understand. So there's always this wondering, like, if it had been differently, what would life have been like for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that.
So it was, life was always hard. And because everybody always said everybody feels that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe them now.
Yeah, you're like, I know better.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I actually now kind of think that everyone else is like a bunch of little crybabies.
Tough enough, you don't even have a tumor.
I know, I'm like, get some real problems. Yeah, I would, yeah.
You would,
I would, yes.
And I understand. I don't think there's any wrong answer. It's a very, like, personal question that, like, everybody's going to have a different response. And even those of us that said that we wouldn't change it, there's a lot in that. Like, it's not just an easy, quick answer.